Connie Bryan Show. Well, you know, with this Trump idiocracy we find ourselves living in today, here's what I want to know. Who the hell are these people in New York and LA who are responsible for television programming today? These morons. And clearly that's what they think of us. Do you guys remember must-see TV? You know, Seinfeld, Friends, more recently The Sopranos, Breaking Bad? Listen, must-see TV is a thing of the past. It's clearly been replaced by an entirely new motto, must have a fucking trailer and KY jelly TV. It's clearly been replaced by must masturbate TV. Yeah, because you probably are sitting in your double wide, you know, on your couch with the plastic protector on it with your KY in one hand and the remote control in the other, flipping around going, what the hell? The 12th season of the Kardashians, click, what's this? South Carolina swinging single moms, click, Alabama antique ass picking, click Swamp Pond stars. You gotta be kidding me. Click Shark Week. Oh my God, I'm just gonna play with myself along with Anderson Cooper on CNN. Speaking of Shark Week, who are you people, huh? Who are you people who can't wait every year for Shark Week to come out on the Discovery Channel? And they're nothing but, you know, fake documentaries. They're like more like reality shows. They start them off with this stuff like, we shot this shark documentary because we're trying to help people understand the shark. Are you kidding me? You gotta be dumb as a box of rice. You gotta be dumb as a Trump supporter not to understand sharks. So I'd like to do my impersonation for you now of a great white shark if he had the personality of one of my favorite comedians, Chris Rock. You got to be freaking kidding me. All you people out there with your Netflix and your cable and your satellite dish on demand, there's no excuse. You have to have seen the movie Jaws, but you're still watching shark documentaries trying to understand us? That's like all you women out there who've been over by all the men who told you they loved you, slept with you, and they never wanted to cuddle afterward, and you never heard from them again, yet you're still reading cosmopolitan magazines trying to understand men. Listen, ladies, there's only one thing you need to know to understand men. Men want to fuck everything. Everything that moves, they want to fuck it. Same with sharks, except we want to eat everything. Everything that moves, we want to eat it. Still don't understand? Okay, let me put it another way. How would you react if you woke up in the middle of the night to find some stranger splashing around in your bathtub? You'd grab your Glock 9, and he'd be lucky if he survived the experience. So I want you to picture a great white shark gang member with a Glock 9 up to your head, and here's the one thing he wants you to understand. Get the fuck out of my bathtub, bitch! You are not the top of the food chain in the ocean. This is my house. You need to know your place, and that's at Starbucks on the internet with a mocha latte in your hand. Trying to understand shark. You gotta be dumb as Kanye West not to understand. Actually, I take that back. Even Kanye ain't that stupid, because ever since the movie Jaws, black people had all the research and understanding they ever needed to know better than to bring their butt into the ocean. Just like after the movie Poltergeist and The Exorcist, black people never needed a ghost documentary to know better than to keep their ass out of even the haunted mansion at Disney World. All right, thanks for tuning into the show. We got a great program coming up you don't want to miss a little later in the show. Very funny young man and impressionist, Charlie Lemke, is going to be right here with me in the studio. Please, no channel surfing. We'll be right back. Hey there, thanks for staying with us. I'm Connie Bryan and you're watching The Connie Bryan Show. Well, this is the part of the program that we always like to welcome all of our viewers in our respective markets across the nation. So first of all, of course, we want to welcome our Sacramento and our Davis viewers. Thanks so much to you for tuning in. Also, our Berkeley and our San Francisco viewers, want to welcome you to the program. Down south in Southern California, we want to welcome, as always, our Santa Barbara viewers and our Pasadena viewers and, of course, our Long Beach viewers. Thanks so much for watching. And then outside of California, we always want to welcome our Portland, Oregon viewers,
Thank you so much for tuning into the show. Also, we want to welcome our Denver, Colorado viewers. Thanks so much for tuning in. And we also want to welcome, as always, our Minneapolis, Minnesota viewers. Thanks for watching the program. And over in Washington, D.C., we want to welcome all of our DC TV viewers. Thanks so much for watching. And last but not least, and you guys are always last just because I go from the West Coast to the East Coast, we really want to thank our Salem, Massachusetts viewers for tuning into the show. Okay, this is the part of the program now that we call Fun with the Newspaper. And of course, I just got to tell you guys, we're going to start with the fact that the Mueller report finally was released. It got dropped on Friday, which I'm taping the show the day after, so this is a Saturday night for me. And we do the show monthly, so it's a little frustrating because if you've been keeping up with it, the Attorney General Barr is still, he hasn't released all the details yet, so I'm a little bit hamstrung in not having more information. But this is the title of the Sacramento Bee for Saturday, and it says, Mueller concludes Russia-Trump probe, no new indictments, and in a related story, these three garden snails commented saying, it's about freaking time! See, that's funny because they're garden snails, you know, it doesn't get much slower, and, you know, so they're like, could he be dragging his ass any longer? But, you know, the whole thing about no new indictments, I just want to comment on that before we move on. That's really not accurate. See, if you've been paying attention, if you've been really keeping up with this, and by that I mean specifically, you know, taking diligent notes during the Rachel Maddow show. Okay, I'm serious. If you've been keeping up with this, you know there are sealed indictments, and a significant number of them. And sealed indictments usually means that they're going to get unsealed at some point. So saying there's no new indictments is really misleading. And also, don't forget that Mueller has farmed out some of the most serious criminal investigations to the Southern District of New York, to the district, I can't remember which one it is, in Virginia, and then the Attorney General in New York. And so there's some serious financial crimes. It's going to get really, really bad for Donald Trump. And of course, we're all excited, of course, to hear the details of the report that's going to come out after I'm done taping the show. All right, let's move on to this story. Take a look at this one out of the Associated Press, recently featured in the Sacramento Bee, entitled Apple Cuts Jobs in Self-Driving Car Division. The story says Apple is reducing the size of its workforce assigned to driverless car technology as the company reorganizes. I personally don't think that this is just about reorganizing. Apple didn't want to admit exactly how many, but CNBC reported that more than 200 Apple employees were dismissed from their self-driving car program. Apparently this occurred after the employees learned that their job included not just building the robot death trap on wheels, but it required their being guinea pigs and having to ride in the damn thing on the 405, okay? So as you know, Apple is trying to compete with Google, and Google calls their robot death car project, they call it Waymo. Waymo. You know, the sarcastic people at Google are saying that Waymo isn't having the same problem. They're not having the same problem as Apple, and that just tells me that the employees working on Google's driverless car project is way more stupid. I know that was silly, but I got a thing about these driverless cars. I really do. I think it's just a bunch of bullshit. Un-American, definitely communist. All right, take a look at this next story. And this is by Anna Phillips of the Los Angeles Times, recently featured in our Sacramento Bee, and entitled Former Coal Lobbyist Wheeler Confirmed to Lead the EPA. this just tells you everything you need to know in a nutshell about the corruption of the Trump administration. It says the Senate confirmed Andrew Wheeler to lead the Environmental Protection Agency, handing the I'm getting ahead of myself here. Handing the reins of the agency responsible for ensuring clean air and safe drinking water to a former coal industry lobbyist. You know, you have to give them credit. At least the Senate did acknowledge that if they're going to do this, okay, they could leave the acronym the same, EPA, but they would really need to change the name to accurately reflect the agency's new mission. They can keep the acronym EPA, but it really needs to be changed to the Environmental Pollution Agency. Talk about the fox guarding the hen house. This is the equivalent of appointing Bill Maher. Actually, better yet, it's the equivalent of appointing Bryan Cranston's character from the series Breaking Bad, you know, the methamphetamine chemistry, to lead the Food and Drug Administration, you know? It's not just the fox guarding the hen house. It's as if the fox was Colonel Sanders himself, and he's building a Kentucky Fried Chicken inside the hen house, you know? It's just unbelievable. And last but not least, take a look at this crazy story that I had to share with you by Andrew Sheeler of the Tribune News, entitled Russia's Putin Names McClellan Airport as Possible Nuke Target. Now keep in mind, because I know a lot of you, are watching from outside of our lovely capital of California here in Sacramento. Keep in mind, McClellan Airport is just an old former Air Force base. It was decommissioned years ago, back in 2001. Now it's just a private airport that's open to public and commercial flights. The article says, fresh off of promising a new Cuban Missile Crisis, Russian President Vladimir Putin has threatened a nuclear strike on key American targets, identifying them as the Pentagon, Camp David for whatever reason, and our Sacramento McClellan Airport. The article says McClatchy News has reached out to the management of McClellan Airport to find out their reaction, basically to find out who pissed off Trump. Because, see, that's funny because we know Trump is so sold out to Putin, so he probably, asked him to do this. The article goes on to say this comes as the Bulletin of Atomic Scientists, now chaired by our former Governor Jerry Brown, has announced that their doomsday clock will remain 2 minutes before midnight, which is supposedly measuring humanity's proximity to annihilation at midnight. But I just want to remind Grandpa Jerry Brown, we just sprang forward with daylight savings time, and we didn't blow up, the earth didn't explode, so it's really only 2 minutes before 1 a.m. That means we got like 23 hours, And also, somebody needs to help dumbass Vladimir Putin understand that if he wants to rehabilitate his KGB poison killer, a-hole image, he really needs to use his nuke threats for good, which would mean targeting Amazon, Facebook, and freaking Matthew McConaughey's house. All right, thanks for tuning into the show. We got a great interview coming up. You don't want to miss a very funny young man going to be right here with me in the studio. Charlie Lemke. He's a local comedian and impressionist. So stick around. No channel surfing. You're going to love it. With us, I'm Connie Bryan, and you're watching The Connie Bryan Show. Well, I'm excited to have a very talented young man right here with me in my studio, comedian Charlie Lemke. Welcome to the show, Charlie.
Thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely, and you do a lot of sketch comedy and impersonations at the Comedy Spot here in Sacramento, right?
That's right. So all my shows right now are at the Sacramento Comedy Spot, and I love the group there.
And are you originally from Sacramento, or how did you end up here? Where were you born?
Yeah, I'm originally from the Bay Area. Grew up between San Jose, Palo Alto, a little bit up in Chico, and then I've been in the Sacramento, Davis area for about 12 years now.
Okay, and how did you come about doing sketch comedy at the Comedy Spot?
Oh yeah, well my brother had been doing stand-up, and he was at a show there, and he noticed they were having improv classes, and if you go back before that, I'd been trying to do stand-up myself.
So, okay, so you had a try at that, and
Yeah.
and we were talking prior to this interview a little bit, our pre-interview. You had told me that your brother did stand-up, and so you were kind of trying to do some too. And what happened? How did that work out?
Well, the first one, I just bombed the first show because all my favorite comedians, they had like half-hour, hour-long specials where they're telling these long stories. So that's how I was writing my material. My brother's like, you gotta shorten it. You gotta start with 5 minutes before you start with a half-hour.
You were taking longer to get to a punchline. You were developing something, and then you found that worked out much better.
Exactly.
In improv.
Yeah. He's like, why don't you try improv? So I took some classes out there, and I loved it. First, like our graduation of the class show, I just kind of like, oh, this is perfect. And then I kept taking classes, and then eventually got on a few shows there.
Fantastic. So you started early on as a child doing theater, as I understand it.
Yeah.
And found that you just really loved it.
Yeah. I was doing children's theater when I was young, like Peter Pan and Christmas Carol and things like that. And I really liked it.
Got the bug.
Yeah, I got the bug. But then that was junior high, and then in high school I was like, oh, I want to hang out with those like cool kids who don't care about anything for a while. So I got away from it for a while. So it was really nice to eventually come back.
Yes, because you're very talented, and one of his biggest talents, the reason why I really wanted to get him on the show, is because you do some fantastic impressions, and I'm really into impressions. So we want to feature some of those. But just to set that up, as a kid, as I understand it, you were a huge fan of Dana Carvey, and you did the presidential debate.
That's right.
Tell them about that a little bit.
Yeah. So when I was about 11 years old, I remember it was 5th grade, we had a talent show, and we were the oldest kids, and then all these 4th grade on down, all these little kids staring at us, and we're doing like a Saturday Night Live sketch that we'd written, but we did the same people like Dana Carvey did, George Bush, Ross Perot, and I think Phil Hartman at that time maybe was doing Bill Clinton.
Okay.
So we were doing this whole political parody sketch, and all these kids are looking at us, but at least the teachers were laughing. I think part of it, they're just laughing at the fact that we were doing that at that age.
George Bush and Ross Perot interaction.
Yeah. All this, the stuff we'd see if we stayed up late enough for Saturday Night Live.
And then fast forward to now, you're finding opportunities to do a lot of Trump.
Yeah.
So can you give us a little bit of some of your stock Trump?
Oh yeah, sure, yeah. So like when you try to do Trump, he's a lot more nasally than you think. You just kind of take your hands and do these nonsensical things with them, and you drop your jaw a little bit. But he's more like, like a Long Island housewife, more so than you think. But he tries to be tough and sassy.
Exactly.
And does the pouty face.
And you did him at Cafe Luna's here in Sacramento for a Trump roast, I guess.
Yeah, it was a Trump roast. It was a really, really great show. Aliata put it on, and it was just a lot of fun because most of the stand-ups were roasting Trump, but I came as Trump, so I got roasted, and then kind of roasted myself, but trying to be the a-hole that Trump is in those situations.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm at the end, I'd be like taking questions from the audience, like they were, okay, fake news, ask me questions, whatever you want. And then they'd be like, what do you think about Puerto Rico?
Do you hate Puerto Rico, Mr. President? You're not doing much to help them after this horrible hurricane.
Puerto Rico, suave, Puerto Rico. And I don't know, that's just what I improvised at the time. That's the stupid stuff he does.
Stupid way he says it.
Yeah.
Instead of like a normal delivery of Puerto Rico, he's gonna be saying it like he's making fun of it.
Yeah, exactly. So I wasn't making fun of it, I was making fun of him, but the weird thing is, just a week later, he was doing that Puerto Rico, I like how it sounds. I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm too much in his head,
Exactly.
It's a little scary.
In some of your early comic influences,
Yeah, a lot.
Who would you say?
I'd say a lot came from Saturday Night Live. There was Dana Carvey, number one. I finally got to see him live just a couple weeks ago. But Dana Carvey did. He did a George Bush. He's like, not gonna do it. He started off with the original, more dry George Bush, but he kept playing with it, and he got a little weird, like the 1,000 points of light. Not gonna do it. And the Ross Perot, can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish? Can I finish?
Exactly.
So I love Dana Carvey and his original characters. Like Garth, like, hey,
Oh yes.
party on,
Party on! Excellent.
party on, Connie. Hey, that girl's pretty hot. She makes me feel kind of funny, like when we climb the rope in gym class. So that was always fun, and then that came along with Mike Myers, and Phil Hartman did a lot of impersonations or impressions too.
Did he? What was you were talking to me earlier about? I think him doing Frank Sinatra. Was it?
Yeah. That kind of stood out to me too, because I don't think he did a dead-on Sinatra. He did like a really jaded Sinatra in his later years. Hello, he'd just be smoking and be like, start to sing a song. Okay, that's all you get. Get out of here. He's just really blasé about everything. Like,
Right.
forget about it. He's kind of like the really mobbed up version.
What about? I know you liked Chris Farley. He was one.
Oh, yeah.
Did you do
I
the
love
one
Chris
where he's the
Farley.
motivational speaker?
Oh yeah. Chris Farley, the motivational speaker. I mean, that was amazing. Nobody could keep their shit together when he was doing it. But I just gotta stand up a little bit here because he'd be like, I am Matt Foley, and I am motivational speaker. I can't see real well, Dad. Is that Bill Shakespeare over there? I don't know if you've been using that paper for writing or for smoking doobies. You're going to be doing a lot of doobie smoking when you're living in a van down by the river. We know it. I'm just doing an impression of his thing, but
That's
it's
great.
just, I love it.
That's dead on.
Thank you.
What about George Bush Jr.?
Oh, yeah.
And maybe now that he's kind of coming into good graces with the people that used to think he was the worst president.
I was so depressed when he was, I did not agree with his policies when he was, I was depressed when he was the second time. I hated him. I'll admit it. But yeah, now he's like, hey, not so bad now, am I? He's always has some jokes he's doing, never taking anything too seriously. He's just straight shooting Texan. Hey, I actually made to help Donald get elected. I don't look so bad now, do I? Hey, you love me now, right? Hey.
I feel bad because I think I just had to help him get elected so I wouldn't be the worst president in American history anymore.
Exactly. I thought it was going to be the worst one ever, but hey, it's all cleared up now.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know you also do a really good Al Pacino.
Oh, thank you. I love doing Al Pacino is so fun,
Yeah.
Because you could do Al, I mean, The Godfather, that's towards the beginning of his career, but a lot of people do the Tony Montana, like, say hello to my little friend, but I like
Tony Montana.
Yeah. But I like to do, like the more like Scent of a Woman Al, where it's kind of unhinged, It's a little off. Is that a bottle of Johnny Daniels over there? Jack Daniels? Well, you know him as long as I have. You call him Johnny. Hoo-ah!
Hoo-ah!
He's like kind of looking off into nothing.
Exactly. Al Pacino was in. Because I know you like to, when you're doing the improv shows, the audience will suggest things, right? That's why you do your impersonations at the comedy spot. Okay, so here. We all remember Al Pacino in Justice for All, right? When he was saying that the judge says you're out of order, and he says...
Like the courtroom scene,
The whole courtroom. So how about Al Pacino in Judge Judy's court as a plumber who is getting sued by a client, and he's getting a little out of control. The Judge Judy has to come down on him.
Yeah, okay, I can do that. Yeah. I was like, oh, Judge Judy, I'm out of order. I'm out of order. This whole place is out of order. The bathroom is definitely out of order. I'll get my plunger from my car later. Hooah!
Very good. Excellent. How about Gary Busey?
Oh, Gary Busey, yeah, he's so good. It's like, you know, when you're thinking about Gary Busey, you don't go from the back of the throat, you got it back to the throat through the front of the teeth. Like, hey, Utah, give me two. It's Gary Busey on the scene. In your face.
All right, Owen Wilson.
Oh yeah, Owen Wilson's fun to do, and
How about Owen Wilson? We know Al Pacino played Dr. Kevorkian, right? The biography of Dr.
Yeah.
How about Owen Wilson instead of Al Pacino playing Dr. Kevorkian?
That would be an interesting take. Yeah, because whereas Al Pacino's like dark sometimes, Owen Wilson's just like, wow. I'm so excited to be here with you taking this next step to, the great beyond. Wow, I'm not going with you, but I kind of wish I was. Wow, it's so neat. See you later.
See you later. Oh, God.
He's so excited.
Yeah. Matthew McConaughey. I mean, this commercial, this
yeah.
Lincoln commercials that are so pretentious on his part.
Yeah.
Do some Matthew McConaughey.
Well, I mean, he's just so cool, man. If you want to do a Matthew McConaughey, you just yell really low and you start, all right. And then you just kind of get really cool and you're like, I was driving Lincolns way before they were cool, I mean,
Exactly.
when he did his Oscar speech, he's like, you know who my hero is? Me, 10 years in the future. Be your own hero. Be your own hero. I was like, wow.
Hilarious. We only have a few seconds left, believe it or not. So take us out with Mark Wahlberg. Goodwill. I guess he has some issues with his thoughts. Some thoughts of his on Goodwill Hunting.
Oh yeah. Well, Mark Wahlberg, he's always out of breath. I think Matt Damon stole my idea for Goodwill Hunting. You know what I mean? We're both from Southie. He stole my life, my real life story.
Hilarious. All right, it's been wonderful. It's been great. Where can people go to look to see where they can catch one of your?
Oh yes, I do Shortcuts and Riot, the improv at the Sacramento Comedy Spot, and we have a great sketch show, Squad Patrol, out there.
And they have a website?
Yes, saccomedyspot.com.
All right.
We have a full calendar of shows. I do those shows, but there's good shows like every night of the week.
All right, Owen Wilson. Owen, it's been great, Owen Wilson.
Thank you so much for having me. Wow.
Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.